Wednesday Addams has returned. And this time, the darkness follows closer than ever. A flicker of lightning reveals a shadowy hallway, dripping candles and broken portraits that seem to stare back. A faint music box plays in reverse, haunting and strange. The camera drifts through Nevermore Academy, as if the viewer is a ghost passing through walls. A girl's footsteps echo measured, cold, and deliberate. The final strike of the hook lands. Season 3 isn't just a return. It's an awakening. The story begins with silence, but not the comforting kind. This silence is heavy, like a blanket pressed over your mouth. The audience sees an endless night sky with a moon that seems larger, brighter, almost watching. The clouds move unnaturally fast, and the trees sway as if whispering secrets to each other. Ravens circle in patterns above the school gates, forming strange symbols that vanish before the eye can make sense of them. The narration draws the viewer in. Faceless and ominous, Nevermore Academy was never meant to be safe. It was built on secrets, fed by shadows, and haunted by the past. But this year, something darker is rising from beneath its stone walls. Something that even Wednesday herself may not be ready to face. The visuals glide through the familiar grounds of Nevermore empty dorm rooms with sheets pulled tight, mirrors covered with black cloth, classrooms where books open on their own and pages flip without wind. A single candle burns in the library, but when the shot turns, there is no one there to light it. The eerie emptiness is broken only by Wednesday's presence. She stands in her black dress, her braided hair perfectly still, her expression unreadable. A typewriter clicks by itself, hammering out the words. She has returned? The narration continues. Wednesday Addams doesn't fear the dark. She welcomes it. But even she knows that every shadow hides something. And this time, the shadows are hiding her destiny. The music rises, strings pulling tight, almost breaking. We cut to fragmented visions, a crypt door swinging open, hands covered in black ink reaching out, a cracked mask lying on the floor. A piano plays a note too loudly. Then silence again. The faceless voice teases. The whispers of Nevermore are growing louder. The walls remember every scream, every lie, every betrayal. And Wednesday is about to discover that the school she thought she knew has been keeping secrets far older than she imagined. The pacing slows, allowing suspense to sink in. We see Wednesday walking down a corridor, her shadow stretching unnaturally long behind her. She pauses, turns her head slightly, and whispers a single word, finally. The section ends with the Netflix logo flickering in faint red light, almost as if painted in blood. Asterisk, the screen flickers with static. A sharp violin screech cuts through the silence. Then darkness? Out of the dark, a candle appears, glowing faintly, but it is quickly blown out by a gust of unseen breath. The faceless voice returns, low and deliberate. Every secret has a cost. And in Season 3, Wednesday Addams is about to pay more than she ever imagined. The camera sweeps over Nevermore. Academy in ruins, broken windows. Vines crawling along stone walls, shadows bending at unnatural angles. The once familiar halls are no longer just eerie, they are alive. Footsteps echo where no one walks. Whispers crawl along the ceilings, forming words that cannot be spoken aloud. Every corner of the school holds something watching. Cut to Wednesday, standing in the middle of her dorm. She stares at a wall covered in strange symbols, carved deep as if by claws. Her typewriter sits still, but one key presses itself repeatedly. DARKNESS. She doesn't flinch. Her voice cold, sharp cuts through. Finally, something worth my time. The faceless voiceover leans closer, more menacing. But Wednesday is not alone. A new presence has arrived at Nevermore. Not a friend? Not an enemy? Something far more dangerous. Something that does not bow to rules or tradition or fear. The screen fades into fragmented images, a gloved hand closing a piano lid with force. High-heeled boots clicking against marble floors. A silhouette dressed in dazzling black, framed by neon lights and smoke. The camera never shows the face. Only hints the curve of a smile, the flash of sharp eyes. A shadow moving like it owns the darkness itself. The faceless narrator whispers, "She is glamour." She is power. She is chaos. And her arrival will shake the walls of Nevermore until they crumble. As the visuals build, a haunting remix of a classic Lady Gaga melody plays faintly, twisted into a gothic score. The beats match flashes of lightning across Nevermore's skies. Students turn their heads as doors swing open. The air changes, heavier, electric. Wednesday watches from across the hall, her expression calm but her eyes burning with something rare, curiosity. For the first time, Wednesday Addams has found someone who matches her darkness, and might even surpass it. The scene shifts to chaos, students running through flooded hallways, shadows rising from the floor, mirrors shattering as though alive. The faceless narration builds, the tone sharper, faster. Nevermore has always been a place of secrets. But this season, the secrets won't stay buried. They will rise, they will burn, and they will demand blood. A montage bursts onto the screen, a coffin exploding open in a crypt. Wednesday walking calmly through fire as books burn around her. The mysterious newcomer, Lady Gaga's figure, raising her hands, commanding the flames. The moon turning crimson, casting the school in blood-red light. The faceless voice softens, slowing into a whisper that feels more like a warning. Two forces of darkness now walk the same halls. One born of silence and shadows, the other born of fire and fame. Together they will either destroy each other, or destroy everything else. The sound cuts to silence. Only the sound of a clock ticking remains. We see Wednesday and the shadowed figure facing each other in the distance, their silhouettes framed by a shattered stained glass window. Lightning crashes, freezing them in white light. The narrator delivers the chilling end to this section. In the game of monsters and secrets, the real question is not who will survive, but who will remain standing in the dark. The screen goes black. Then the faint Netflix logo pulses like a heartbeat. Asterisk, a pendulum swings, ticking back and forth, the sound echoing like a heartbeat. The camera follows its motion until it slams to a stop, frozen mid-air. A whisper cuts through. Every shadow tells a story. Every face hides a secret. And at Nevermore, even the strongest must decide who they truly are. The visuals shift to Wednesday standing in front of a cracked mirror. The glass reflects not one image of her, but many different versions of herself, smirking, frowning, staring blankly. Each reflection flickers in and out, as though the mirror cannot decide which Wednesday is real. She leans closer, her voice calm, cutting. I don't believe in destiny. I believe in choices. The faceless narrator presses forward. But choices come with enemies. And enemies often come disguised as friends. The scene widens to reveal flashes of the supporting cast. Enid, her claws dripping with silver light, fighting shadows in the courtyard. Xavier, covered in paint and ink, sketching symbols that suddenly come alive and crawl off the page. Bianca, her eyes glowing faint blue as she whispers a siren song that makes doors unlock themselves. Their faces are tense, each one haunted by something unseen. The faceless voice Wednesday may push them away, but this time, she cannot walk alone. Even monsters need allies. Even shadows need light. The tone shifts darker, heavier. A new figure steps into the frame. Lady Gaga's character still faceless, still hidden in shadow. Only glimpses are shown, a jeweled mask, a smile sharpened like glass, a trail of black feathers falling in her wake. The music changes, a haunting mix of organ and electronic beats, powerful yet unsettling. The narration turns intimate, almost seductive. She is not a student. She is not a teacher. She is something else entirely. A storm wrapped in silk. A song turned into a weapon. And for the first time, Wednesday Addams finds someone who refuses to fear her. The screen cuts to Wednesday standing inches away from the newcomer. Their eyes lock, though Gaga's character remains unseen. Her presence dominates the frame. The tension is magnetic, like two storms colliding. Wednesday speaks low and sharp. You're either a challenge or a mistake. The faceless voice rises. Wednesday has always thrived in solitude. But what happens when solitude becomes obsession? When rivalry becomes attraction? When two shadows discover they burn brighter together? then apart. The montage grows more frantic, Enid screaming Wednesday's name as the ground splits open. Bianca slamming a door shut to block something monstrous outside. Xavier painting in desperation as ink floods the floor. Wednesday standing perfectly still as chaos erupts around her, and then Lady Gaga's character dances in firelight, her silhouette glowing, her shadow stretching across Nevermore like a crown. Students watch in awe and terror. The narrator hisses, the words sharp, deliberate. This season, it is not just about survival. It is about power. It is about identity. It is about the moment when Wednesday Addams must choose who she will become. When faced with someone who mirrors her darkness and dares to outshine it, the music crescendos, strings and electronic beats colliding in a storm of sound. The montage grows rapid, a crypt door slamming shut on its own. Enid collapsing to her knees, claws retracting. A black feather falling into a pool of blood. Wednesday smiling not with cruelty but with satisfaction. The faceless narrator whispers the chilling line that closes the section. Some battles are fought with fists, others with shadows, but the deadliest battles are fought with the heart. The screen plunges into silence again. Only the sound of breathing remains. Then, in the faint glow of the Netflix logo, Wednesday's voice cuts through, soft but sharp. Try to outshine me. I dare you, **, a clock strikes midnight. The sound is not gentle, it's violent, echoing like a hammer against stone. With each strike, the screen flashes a new image, a cracked crypt, a raven dropping feathers soaked in red, Wednesday's face lit only by fire. On the 12th strike, the sound cuts off into silence. A whisper crawls across the screen. The night has chosen its queen. The camera races through the halls of Nevermore, twisting and bending as if the school itself is alive. Doors slam shut on their own, windows shatter inward, shadows crawl like liquid along the floor. Students scream in the distance, their voices muffled, distorted. The faceless narrator builds with a rising, feverish tone. Season 3 is not a continuation. It is a storm that will drown the weak, burn the strong, and leave only the fearless standing. Suddenly, a montage explodes in rapid flashes, Wednesday dragging a coffin across the floor, sparks flying from its edges. Enid, in her full werewolf form, howling at a blood-red moon as ash falls like snow. Bianca, standing knee-deep in water, her song twisting waves into monstrous shapes. Xavier slashing at a painting, the canvas tearing open to reveal something alive behind it. The music swells, a haunting symphony of organs and pounding drums. The narrator lowers, the voice like a growl, but in every storm, there is a center. And in this storm, there are two. The frame cuts to Wednesday standing across from Gaga's mysterious figure. Both are still, silent. The world crumbles around them, walls collapsing, glass exploding, fire roaring, but neither flinches. Their silhouettes lock, unmovable, as if time itself has paused for their duel. Wednesday smirks, her eyes gleaming. Gaga's figure tilts her head, a smile flickering in shadow. The camera pulls in closer until the two are inches apart. The tension is unbearable, then chaos reigns. A crypt door bursts open, unleashing a swarm of black wings. Fire floods the courtyard, lighting statues ablaze. A mirror shatters into 1,000 shards, each shard showing a different twisted future. Wednesday lifts her hand, and shadows obey her like soldiers. Gaga's figure laughs low. Dangerous, and the fire bends to her will. The narrator rises into a crescendo, one born of silence, sharpened by solitude. The other born of fire, crowned in chaos. Together they will break the walls of Nevermore, and nothing will ever be the same again. The screen flickers black, then flashes with high-speed images, Wednesday's hand dripping with ink-black blood. Enid collapsing into Wednesday's arms. A raven tearing through the sky with a scroll in its claws. Gaga's figure stepping onto shattered glass as though it were a stage. Wednesday's smile cold, unshaken amidst destruction. The music drops. Everything goes silent again. The only sound is Wednesday's voice, calm, sharp, unmistakable. Let them come. A single beat of silence. Then, In a final blast of music, the title card appears in bold. Cracked letters, Wednesday Season 3 only on Netflix. The logo flickers, almost burning itself into the screen. As it fades, a final whisper crawls through the darkness. This time not from the narrator, but from Gaga's character, faceless and unseen. You thought the darkness was yours, Wednesday? But it has always belonged to me. The screen fades to black. Only the sound of ravens remains, flapping endlessly into the void.